Liar Liar. Mixed ratings. I watched it on ITVX with Binman. Jim Carrey, Gary Alves. Probably only those two. I've been looking to watch this one for quite a while because Marcus would talk about it sometimes in his second channel videos about the scene where Jim Carrey's character is like, I object on the basis that it doesn't help my case, and he compares that scene to some of the bullshit that people do in the articles that he talks about. Um, and there are a bunch of clips that I've seen on Instagram. Like I'm surprised by the amount that there is. I can't think of any other Jim Carrey film that I've seen that many clips of on Instagram, because there was the stop breaking the law bit, there was the bloopers, and just a bunch. And speaking of the stop breaking the law part, the clip I seen on Instagram was just him saying, "Stop breaking the law, asshole." But when we seen it on ITV, he didn't say asshole, he just said, "Stop breaking the law," and then it kind of cut, and it was a bit rough, as if ITV had edited, you know what I'm trying to say. But you can watch plenty of shit with swearing in it on ITV. Hell, their own programs have swearing in. I don't get why they would cut out a swear word. Unless they wanted to, put the age rating down or something. And they said, what, an hour and 27 minutes? Yeah. On ITV, it's an hour and 20. Flat. So, maybe ITV don't count the credits, and it's 7 minutes of credits, but they definitely have cut things out. And it's not just because of that line, it's because of how rough it was. Yeah, it's... I was about to move on, but I just realised I haven't actually said what I thought about the film. It was great. I would say I'm not as much of a fan of Jim Carrey's performance in this as I am in the Sonic movies. Even though he's doing basically the same thing, there's just something that I prefer in Sonic. No idea what it is, though. Like, this was kind of what I expected to think of Jim Carrey, where it's like you could have, you didn't need the, overacting is, and already, but to do it to the extent that Jim Carrey does is excessive. Yeah, fuck it, I'll move on. Final review, The Acolyte. To be clear, the reason why it took me 4 months to finish this is not because the show is bad. If the show were bad, obviously I wouldn't have continued watching it. What had happened was that I'd watched the first two the week after they came out, and then I was busy watching something else. I think it was Doctor Who, and then after that I got Apple, and I put all my focus on the Apple, because all the shows that I've seen, Mosquito Coast, Defending Jacob, Crowder Room, all that, and even shows that aren't cancelled yet, so there were no final reviews. So that's the reason why it took me up until now. Like, the reason why I stopped watching all the Apple shit is because it was a free subscription for 3 months that I got, but now I'm on an actual paid subscription for a year. So, I'm going to finish up all the stuff on Disney, which was this, Agatha, season 4 of Only Murders in the Building, Shogun and that new show Rivals. And I started with this because it was the least recent. I got fucking yeah. Um, yeah, episodes 1 and 2. Like, I'm not gonna bring up anything, but because I mentioned all of it in the initial review. But from what I remember, nothing wrong with it. And then I didn't have any problems with the show until episode 5, I think it was. There was a scene where the bad guy is fighting all the Jedi, like Gavin Squid Game, Jackie, the others, and he has this helmet on that if a lightsaber hits it, it disables the lightsaber for a minute or two. What the fuck? Now, I don't know anything about like the extended Legends universe, which I get that it's non-canon, but they can't just bring ideas from that into a Disney Plus show and therefore make it canon. So maybe it doesn't originate from the acolyte, but either way, I still think it's a shit idea. And then in the last episode, there was a scene where someone's lightsaber gets hit. I think it's Gavin Squid Game. And it breaks a little. The kyber crystal is exposed, and it's been hurt a bit, so it bleeds, which means that when I think it was Osha picks it up, it turns red instead of blue, which is that's how it works. And that's how it works. There's a crystal in the lightsaber that I think by default it's blue. I don't know how it turns green, yellow, purple, all that, but the way that it turns red is that you need to make it bleed. And the fact that it bled from just being struck is fucking ridiculous. I haven't read it, but there's a comic showing how Darth Vader bled his lightsaber. You know, Darth Vader, one of the most powerful people in the entire fucking universe. And it was a very, very hard process for him to get his crystal to bleed. So the fact that it happened so easily, just from like a hit, it's fucking ridiculous. That they were the only two problems I had with it. Like the other things that people said, I think you can just sort of brush it off. Like that cult of witches that use the Force to give birth to babies. They could be lying because they are a fucking cult. That's what they typically do. Like maybe they're not actually using the Force. Maybe the two parents are just going off planet and, well, getting pregnant the traditional way. And what was the other thing? That scene where the bad guy's like, oh, an acolyte doesn't carry a weapon. And then he ignites a lightsaber. People were pointing that out because a bit hypocritical. And I said at the time that episode came out, maybe he's not an acolyte. And just let it cook. Maybe it's setting things up for later episodes. And then the last one was in episode 3, I think it was, they bring a character in. I think his name's like Kiadi Mundi. This character appeared in the prequels, and in The Phantom Menace, he said that there hasn't been a Sith in 1,000 years, but yet the Acolyte takes place 100 years before the Phantom Menace. I don't think the bad guy is actually a Sith. Another fucking group chat notification. Um, like I said without having seen that episode that I think by the end of the show, what's going to happen is that it's such a fuck up on the Jedi side that they just sort of erase it, kind of like the Tiananmen Square massacre. You know, they censor it and they just say there hasn't been one in 1,000 years. Or I don't think he's a Sith. I think he just doesn't like the Jedi, and there is a difference between those two things. But I thought this was going to be the kind of thing where it only lasts a season. Like, it's not necessarily a mini series, but it is only planned to be one season because I didn't expect it to be the way that it was. I thought it was going to be a full on murder mystery, not something that they reveal in episode 1 or episode 2. So when they cancelled it, I was thinking, like, you're cancelling a mini series, like it. Oh my god, no way! But based on the way that it ended, it kind of set itself up for season 2. Don't know how season 2 would have went, but yeah, just this show is prime evidence of people overreacting about everything. Like, the show, in hindsight, wasn't all that interesting, but it wasn't, like, what, a 3.4 on IMDb? 5.6, 5.3. Even then, I wouldn't say it's that bad. Like, it's a 6 at the lowest. Like, especially that scene at the start, the fight scenes are possibly the best fight scenes in all of Star Wars. Because, I mean, you know, if we take the originals, fantastic fight scenes, especially since it's the first of its kind. Then the prequels, great fight scenes, but it is kind of just the same thing. And then the sequels, also the same. But with this, they've added shit to it. And some of it might not work. Like, oh, when you use the Force, you don't have the ability to do this that they did in, like, episode 1 or whatever. I don't know. Because I wouldn't say I'm not a hardcore Star Wars fan at all. Like, I do fucking love the series, but it's just I'm not memorizing, like, the lore and shit. I have yet to read a single one of the books, a single one of the comics. I'm not a fan of the games other than the Lego games. So I'm not sure about all that, but yeah, if they get the Force wrong, then yeah, that does knock it down a couple points, but just overall, it's not that bad, and actually give it a chance. Most of the people that I've seen talking shit about it, I haven't actually seen it.